2 years ago, I landed on a project, and only two things were good: the choice of migrating it and the use of Strapi. I'm Antonin Savoie, I'm lead developer at Calliope, and I will tell you how we migrate a monolithic PHP application to a multi-service application with Node.js, Strapi, Next, and Kubernetes. Some context, a client arrived at Calliope with a project done in 2019. It was a Symfony application with a lot of business rules, a lot of data. He works in healthcare, so there is a lot of security issues, and we have to keep in mind. There was a start of a migration, but very shy, with some patches of React in some twin templates, and start of usage of Strapi, but with only 2 or 3 content types. So he arrived at Calliope for a migration of his platform, and he gave us multiple missions. First one was a full front-end redesign to match the new style guide. He also wants new feature with more content by using Strapi. He wants us to help them to know how the site work and how the data work, because people knowing it didn't work anymore at our client. And there was a lot of data and a lot of business rule totally unknown by the client on their own site. He wants us to improve the login register workflow with the user validation to be compliant with new legal rules, because we are in healthcare context. We have to be very strict on it and very strict on which user access which data. He also wants to set up new APIs for partner integration. He also wants a new sub-site, reusing the new design and the data already in place, and also simplify the life of the customer service. And by knowing all the goals he gave us before the migration of the project, we started by rethinking the whole architecture of the project. We cannot afford just 1 year of full development and cut the old seed and make the new one. So we have to keep the existing one in place, the Symfony. We keep the Strapi setup, and we will use it more. And we choose to create a new front-end with Next, and 2 back for front, 1 public and 1 private. The public to expose non-sensitive data to our site and maybe others, and 1 private, which we are really strict in security, only accessible with an authentication. So the first mission was a front-end redesign. The choice of Next.js was really easy because there is already some React in the project. Strapi is done in React, so it's easy to integrate with it. But between page migration, we have to add new features because the site still continues to live. So we have to do a lot of planification, and we have a lot of communication with the client to really be just one team and not just 11-1. Anyway, so for that, the Agile method helps us a lot to communicate every day, to plan all the migration and the new features to make this redesign. Next thing was to add new features with more content, and for that we relied totally on Strapi because it was already there. It's in React, so the ecosystem is the same. Client didn't use very well Strapi. There was only 2 or 3 content types, but with our expertise with it, we propose him a lot of content type, a lot of reuse with component and dynamic zone, and also some custom plugin to enhance the admin panel. So for that, Strapi was a really good choice, and we just use it and improve it. Now, one of the big pain points of the project was to know how the site works. As I said, there was a lot of data. There was like 100 daily cron jobs importing the data, but not just the data that has changed, but all the data available in their design system. There was a lot of doctrine used with Symfony, with a lot of overriding and manipulation of data before insertion. There was a bad error handling. A lot of error was just silenced because too many errors, we just ignore them. So we have to rewrite rewrite how the data is stored, and to improve the data batch schema. And page by page, we look at how it's done in the Symfony. We dig a lot, we destroy everything we saw to redo it in the Next for the front end and in the BFF for the data access. It takes us the more time in the project, but he gave us a lot of expertise, and he gained confiance to our client to know how the site works. Now, a big step was the login register migration to be compliant with new legal rules, because we have to be strict on which person, which user access which data. And even in intern, they didn't really know how the user is validated. So we have to dig a lot about how the workflow and their API in their information system, how they work, so we can just rematch it and redo it on our side. And we take this opportunity to migrate from session-based authentication to GWT1, which helped us a lot in stateless context with Node and Next. And it was also compliant with the old system, the Symfony. We changed the way we log in the users to handle GWT. And on the new stack, we also use GWT. It helps us also to open APIs to partner integration. We generate new token and new keys for our partners. And with the token working, we can make really, we can separate the data each token can access, both in the public BFF and the private, to be sure sensitive data are not accessible. Next, it was a new subsite, reusing the design system and the login and all the things we have improved in the project. And for that, we mainly rely on Kubernetes and traffic. When a new query arrives in our system, traffic knows, depending on the path and the domain, if he has to route the client to the old Symfony, because it's not already migrated pages, or to the Next.js. And thanks to the routing system of Next.js, we can reuse a lot of components and, depending on the domain, display one site or another by reusing all the components and just make some customization about colors and brands and things like that. In this context, Kubernetes helps us a lot because barely by doing nothing on our pods, the new subsite is accessible. It can be scalable if there is a lot of traffic sometime. And if in the future there is 10, 20, a lot of sites in this, it will be scalable automatically. And the last part was to simplify the life of customer service. They have a limited access to a PHP backoffice made in Sonata. It was reopinionated to data and things like that, so the business people didn't really use it. And we rely also on Strapi with the dashboard and a lot of admin panel plugins to just migrate and create new admin page to help them handle configuration and follow data, follow user validation and things like that. We even achieve an invisible login between the PHP and the Strapi using the admin login endpoint. When a user is logged in the PHP with just a button, there is an automatic generation of Strapi GWT, and because we share the same domain, we can share it with Strapi. So a contributor didn't have to log in to a PHP and to Strapi. So knowing all the missions the client will give us help us a lot to sync the whole architecture at the beginning. With a composable approach, we know we can add some bricks when needed. We know we can add some other application, open APIs, and take our time to migrate some pages or some data without breaking the existing site. And by being vigilant on especially the data, we are now open to add even more application in this context. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome.